Hello and welcome to the weekly recap. I'm Matt Wacker. Frank Swanson of West Plains was fired from Walmart after nearly 20 years of service. The reason, according to his exit interview documentation, excessive price matching and hugs. This sparked an immediate movement of support for Frank and spurred the creation of a Hugs for Frank rally. We sent our Ben Gronowski to learn more.
On a brisk April morning, a crowd starts to gather in support of one of their own, Frank Swanson. Set up on Facebook, this rally is in protest of Frank being fired from Walmart on the 2nd of April for excessive price matching and hugging customers. His exit interview documentation states that, quote, Frank has been price overriding an excessive amount, 3 times more than the next highest of merchandise as seen as in the POS cashier exception report. It also states that, quote, Frank has also continued to hug customers while checking them out, end quote. I was able to speak with Frank and his brother Drexel, but first asked some of his supporters about their experiences with Frank at the checkout counter.
He would always give you a hug, or he would always tell my husband, where did you get that young woman?
His line was always the busiest line in there because everybody wanted to go through it. Like I said, he was the friendliest guy there. He was, witty, funny guy.
And one time I said hi to him, and I was like, hi, and then he said hi back, and he's just really kind and jokes around with me.
Yeah, how nice he is, and like I said, he was nice to everybody that come through there. People would be lined up as far as you could see in his, so they could get him to check them out.
Yes, I've seen Frank actually reach in his own pocket to help people out that were $1 or $2 short on their bill. I've seen Frank give shoes out to Fairview School with his own money. He's just a very, very gracious person.
He's the epitome of honesty, compassion, and conscientious. He's just a very nice young man.
He's just a special guy. Always made you feel good.
Can you tell me a little bit about what happened? Did they call you in, or?
They called me in. They said I was charging imaginary prices on stuff. And they said I had too many comp ads, and I was hugging too many ladies.
And how did you respond to that when you were in there?
I said I didn't charge the wrong price. Don't scan unless they tell me to. Price override. And I asked the ladies to hug before I give them a hug.
So my brother was basically fired for a lady had walked through his line, and they had written him up before for excessive price matching and for hugging customers. And they had asked Frank, they said, our policy is unless the customer initiates the price matching conversation, you cannot tell them what's on sale. So a lady brought in a gallon of Red Diamond iced tea. It was $2.88 Walmart price. It was, and the lady said, hey, this is on sale somewhere here in town for $2.48. She initiated the price matching guarantee conversation. And Frank said, no, it's on sale at G&W in Willow Springs for $1.98. Allowed her to have it for $1.98. She walked out the store. A week later, Frank was fired, and basically they said that ad did not exist, that he basically allowed them to walk out of the store with a 50-cent discount for an ad that didn't exist. He drove to Willow Springs that next morning, picked up a copy of the ad, and it's been released to the media already, and it very plainly states that Red Diamond iced tea was on sale at G&W in Willow Springs on that date for $1.98. I am in support of people boycotting Walmart. My brother Frank Swanson is not. He says he has a lot of friends that work at Walmart, and he doesn't want them to lose their job. He has also released a statement through my Facebook page that he wishes Trent Cochran and his family nothing but the best. That's just my brother. I called him the other day and asked him what he was doing. Asked him how he was feeling, what was going on. He said, I'm just out visiting people in the nursing homes. He said, I have a little more time on my hands now. So that's just my brother, true and blue. So,
well, being a local resident of West Plains, I'm no stranger to Frank's line. And I guess the last and most important thing, Frank, can I get a hug? With high spirits, constant smiles, and hugs to go around, Frank demonstrated many of the virtues that propelled him to his local celebrity status long before the recent turmoil. But that's just Frank being Frank. Always eager and active in his community, you can now find him at Ramey's Supermarket and the newest calls to Frank It Forward. If you see one of these cards, chances are you're about to be the recipient of a random act of kindness inspired by Frank Swanson. And with that, back to you, Matt.
Lebanon's new mayor, Josh Ray, officially took office on April 11th. Fidelity's Leanne Menting spoke with Ray about his new position and the changes he has in store for the city.
Matt, I'm here with Mayor-elect of the City of Lebanon, Josh Ray. Hi, Josh.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. You beat out then City Councilman Bill Wheeler by a narrow margin to become the new mayor of Lebanon. So when do you officially take office?
I actually get sworn in tonight at the City Council meeting, so about 6 days lead time, and then I'm mayor.
Okay, so what is the first order of business for the new mayor of Lebanon?
Well, the first thing I've got to do is I've got to talk with all the City Council members and make sure that they understand me and that I understand what direction they want to go. And then it's on to filling board and commission seats, and also filling Mr. Wheeler's vacant councilman seat as well.
There have been some complaints and maybe some controversy surrounding the city administrator in the City of Lebanon. What changes do you plan to make on that front, if any?
Well, we're looking more at focusing City Council on directing the city administrator. It seems like in the past it's been the other way around, and at least that's the sentiment around town. So first things first is we need to start giving the city administrator some direction and following up with it and making sure that he's doing what we've put him in place to do. From there, it's really a matter of job performance where we go from there.
Okay. I know that your platform was a lot about inclusiveness and that you want to bring in the citizens of Lebanon to hear their voice. How do you plan to go about that?
Well, tonight after City Council meeting, when I'm sworn in, I'm going to put out a call for applicants for the Ward 4 City Council spot vacated by Mr. Wheeler, as well as looking at the open positions on board and commissions, including my planning and zoning board slot. We'll put out an open call for applications for that, and then after that it will be on to town hall meetings and things like that.
All right, so what is the City of Lebanon going to look like 4 years down the road at the end of your term?
Well, I hope that it looks like a much more improved morale. I see a closer knit community and a more involved citizenry.
Thank you so much. Mayor-elect Josh Ray. Back to you, Matt.
Ray edged out Lebanon City Councilman Bill Wheeler to win the mayoral race on April 5th. Wheeler has since resigned his seat on the council, citing family health issues. A former University of Kansas running back missing for a week was found dead in a secluded area in central Missouri. Marys County Sheriff Chris Heitman said 24-year-old Brandon Bourbon's body was found April 8th on a riverfront property near Vienna, roughly 80 miles west of his hometown of Potosi. Heitman said Bourbon killed himself but didn't provide further information. Bourbon was reported missing April 2nd. University of Kansas football coach David Beatty issued a statement sending his condolences to Bourbon's family and calling him a constant source of inspiration within the football program. In honor of employee Lyndon Epker, Governor Jay Nixon ordered all flags at MoDOT facilities be lowered to half-staff through Epker's funeral. The 55-year-old Epker was struck by a vehicle and killed while working traffic control on Highway 100 between Washington and New Haven. Epker spent 30 years with the Missouri Department of Transportation, retiring from full-time status in 2013. Epker was laid to rest on April 12th. The Phelps County Republican Central Committee held its annual Lincoln Day banquet on April 8th. The event served as a showcase for GOP hopefuls, giving state and local candidates a chance to speak to constituents and supporters. Common themes were religious liberties, Second Amendment rights, pro-life, and property rights. Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, who is currently running for governor, stated that he has been, quote, battling activists all across Missouri for property rights that are absolutely essential to the citizens. Terrace Cates is running for Phelps County Surveyor. He echoed that sentiment in his brief speech.
Our right, our privilege as the United States citizen is to own land. How do you know where your land is if it's not surveyed, if you don't know where those markers are? Most of those markers were lost. They were wooden posts, there were some piles of rock, but for the most part, they've been lost throughout the state, throughout the West, and even here in Phelps County. We have 60% of those restored. We still have another 40% that needs to be restored. I've been an engineer and a surveyor for 34 years. I'm a deputy county surveyor now under Lou Gilbert for 7 years. And it's my hope to be your next county surveyor, to be able to restore those corridors, to be able to survey and help people get and know where their land is.
The Republican Party primary takes place August 2nd. The city of Dixon is at an impasse following the April 5th municipal elections. You may remember Mike Plumber, former chief of police in Dixon, who was indicted in October on multiple charges involving abuse of his position. On January 20th, Plummer's peace officer license was suspended. However, that came a day after he filed for re-election. Then, on April 5th, Plummer won the election with over a third of the votes cast. This leaves Dixon in a sticky situation. Pulaski County Prosecutor Kevin Hillman has filed to prevent Plummer from taking office on the grounds that his peace officer license is suspended, which would make it illegal for him to resume his duties. Plummer has until April 21st to respond to the filing. In a continuation of our look at Missouri's bicycle culture, some area cyclists are concerned that proposed legislation may discourage biking in the state. A new bill would require riders to attach a 15-foot flagpole to the rear of their bicycle. During a weekend protest at the Capitol building in Jefferson City, Leanne Mentink spoke with David Rice.
Hi, Matt. I'm here with David Rice, who's the organizer of the protest ride, the 15-foot pole protest ride here in Jefferson City. David, what is the protest ride exactly for? What is it protesting?
Well, we're trying to bring awareness to a law passed by proposed by Jay Houghton, a state legislator, to have a 15-foot pole for cyclists whenever they're on a ruled lettered road, and also to bring attention to this same legislator proposing ATVs being of use on Wednesdays on the Katy Trail. We want to bring awareness to that.
So these are bicycling issues, and when you say 15-foot flag, you're talking about that would be required to be attached to bicycles?
Yes, attached to a bike. It has to be 15 feet from the ground, and it has to be straight up. It can't be a 15-foot pole that could lean. I mean, it has to go straight up 15 feet before there's any lean or at all. So if you're looking at a bike, you're actually talking about a lever on a bike. In a windy day, going 20, 30 miles per hour for the wind, you could get knocked over. You could hit other cyclists. You could hit other cars. It's very dangerous what he's proposed.
So that's an issue, and the other one involves the Katy Trail, which would allow motorized ATVs on certain days. Is that correct?
Yes. He would like to see ATVs used for people who are disabled on the Katy Trail, but there's lots of opportunities for people who are disabled. You can buy an electric bike, you can buy recumbent, you can use, if you're in a wheelchair, you can use a motorized wheelchair. There's no reason you can't use a Katy Trail and be disabled. What he's actually proposing are vehicles that will destroy the surface of the Katy Trail, making it hard for businesses that do tours to go across the Katy Trail. Local people like myself just riding the Katy Trail because it's fun. There's no reason for it.
So what made you personally get involved, and why did you organize this personally, David?
I'm not involved politically at all in anything. And this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, but I'm tired of being a cyclist and seeing people who treat us so poorly, throwing things at us, flipping us off, just a general attitude and hate directed towards us just because we're using the road at the same time that cars are using the road. We're not trying to take over the road. There's bad cyclists, there's bad drivers, there's bad pedestrians. And, there's no perfect cyclists, but we don't try to put ourselves in danger. We go out of our way to make ourselves visible. And so the 15-foot pole is a ridiculous idea. It has no merit in reality.
But you agree some legislation would be in order, just not that particular, or is that what you're proposing?
I would like to see things like motorists. It wouldn't cost anything to the state, wouldn't cost cyclists anything, to require motorists to move over 3 feet. That's one of the proposed laws this year. Another step I would like to see them do is move over their full lane. As far as cyclists, things we can do is add a front light. We can add a rear light when we have low light conditions. Like my helmet right now has reflective gear on it, so it's very bright, easy to see. There's tons of things we can do as cyclists that are very cheap for us to be visible on the road.
Okay, thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Matt, back to you.
Beyond recreation, many citizens depend upon walking and biking to get around. Even so, Missouri has no dedicated state funding for bicycle and pedestrian transportation. It'll be very interesting to see what becomes of this legislation. Thanks, Leanne. Deputies were dispatched to the 4000 block of Highway V in Villa Ridge on April 7th in response to a peace disturbance involving an intoxicated woman. It was determined that a warrant had been issued for her arrest. While searching the apartment, deputies encountered a locked bedroom door with the suspect inside. They forced entry and found the suspect pointing a handgun in their direction. A taser cartridge was deployed and the 54-year-old woman was taken into custody. She is now being held on a $25,000 bond. The Missouri S&T women's mucking team won the 38th Intercollegiate Mining Competition held March 30th through April 3rd. This was the team's third consecutive international title. The students traveled nearly 1,500 miles to Butte, Montana, to defend their title in events based on old-fashioned mining techniques generally known as mucking. The Missouri S&T men's Team A finished in 5th place among 15 teams, and the men's Team B was 14th. That's all for now. From all of us here at the Weekly Recap, I'm Matt Wacker. Thanks for watching.